You could have done it. You guys could have came down to practice. Are we in Adia or McKale? You guys could have came by practice, because then you can grab players. Tell me when you're starting to record.
Yeah, we're actually in our.
Okay.
So just BYU, what do you expect from them?
I expect it to be hard. It's our first Big 12 game. Playing before Christmas is always a tough time because everybody's focused on Christmas. They're not supposed to be, but they are. And those are during finals and Christmas, right before Christmas, are tough games. Because like right now, they're all, they're spent from finals and on both sides probably. I don't know when they have their finals, but I'm assuming same time.
And that this 10-day gap after this game, I don't remember it being as long in the past. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't remember it either. I don't remember our schedule being like this either. We just had that really tough stretch of like 2 weeks with a lot of games, a lot of travel. And then we have these like one game long stretch, another game long stretch, BYU long stretch. And it's also weird starting before Christmas. Remember, we usually started the Pac-12 like January 4th. So it's a lot different. So everything was condensed more. So all those things are new. So we're going to see how we like that.
What's the scout at BYU?
BYU, they're good in transition. They 22% of their points are in transition kind of fast. And to put it in perspective, we're about 20%. So they play faster than we do. And we typically, I think, with other teams have played faster than we do this year. Just for personnel, we don't play as fast. They can shoot the ball. They do a lot of handoffs. They're a good team. And it's going to be a hard game for us on the road. But it's going to be a good challenge for us to start the Big 12 and kind of see where we're at.
And what is your take of the non-conference season as a whole?
I think it was okay. It was hard for some of those games not having our best players, and it's not an excuse at all. But it is what it is. I think that stretch playing at NAU was hard. NAU played really well, but those are good teams. I don't think we have a bad loss. If you look, if you're just hearing, oh, GCU, NAU. Those are teams we should beat. But if you look at their roster, look at their personnel, their experience, they're both teams that are probably going to win their conferences, and they're good. And they're both really experienced. So if you look at GCU, it's, I think, 13 new players, grad transfers, seniors. So they're more experienced, so they play well. So I think in the end, those aren't going to be bad losses. Tough because they're in-state opponents, so that's always hard. But for a young team, I think, right now, when you play those veteran teams, like we have a chance, we're not going to win all those games. So I want us to play well against BYU because I think it's going to set the tone for the season. Like for, confidence, no one wants to play bad before a break because then you have the whole break to think about it. So I want to play good.
And when you think about that, going into the Big 12, it's not as tough as the Pac-12, and it's not even probably as tough as expected before the season because some of the teams have dropped out of the rankings. So I know you scheduled easier this year in the non-conference.
I thought it was going to be easier. It was supposed to be, but it didn't turn out being that much easier.
But when you think about having to make up for that in Big 12 and not having those teams that might boost you, like a Stanford.
Yeah.
Does that concern you about down the road?
It doesn't concern me now because right now we have to get better and we have to improve to even be there. So I'm not even thinking ahead like that. I'm thinking like, okay, let's get healthy. Let's go in the Big 12, improved and playing better, not turn the ball over as much and stuff. Because if we don't take care of those things, we're not going to win the games we're supposed to. And we're not going to steal games against better opponents. So getting better, having a test on the road to see where we're at is a good barometer for us moving forward. So I think that we need, instead of looking ahead, it's just with this team, it really has to be like narrowed focus, one game at a time, because we have to, I don't think we have the luxury with our personnel and our youth of looking ahead and say, oh, this game is going to be a win. This game, we don't have that luxury. I think every team we play is going to be hard. I do think the conferences are different, but I think this is going to be challenging because it's different. We don't know who the teams are. The travel is different. So I think there's a lot of unknowns. And I think that there's a lot more parity in this conference, too. In the Pac-12, there was always Stanford and then, like, some elite teams. But I think here, it's the middle is really give or take. So I think in some ways that could be harder. But, yes, we don't have those big net games. But if you win games, it takes care of those things. But if you don't win the games, it does it.
And, when you look at Brea, she's obviously improved this, obviously from the offseason. She
Yeah.
put in a lot of work and improved. What do you think is sort of the big encompassing thing that she's done to really take this jump?
Well, I think that she learned a lot her freshman year. So they always say the best thing about a freshman is they're going to be a sophomore. So I think for her, I think she was really disappointed fouling out of the game because she did that so much her freshman year, and she hadn't done that for a while. And we had this streak going. So I think she's improved defensively. She's put work in. She's really put work in the weight room. She had lost a lot of weight during the year last year. She wanted to stay stronger. She didn't feel like she could absorb contact last year. So I think her focus was staying on the floor, and she was able to do that except for last game, or I think there was 2 games where she wasn't. And then finishing better around the basket, and she's starting to go right and left, so she's finishing, I think, last time I looked, she was like in the 60s, field goal efficiency, so that's a bucket inside, that's a really good percentage, and she's played some big, good players. And then, the things we have to work on with her is just endurance and conditioning, which she's working on. She was in there yesterday on her own. I walked by and I saw her. Conditioning, running the floor a little bit better, and just like moving her feet a little bit better just defensively and boxing out. But those are things she's better than she was last year. So she's came a long way. I think she's playing at a really high level. She's forcing double teams and stuff, so we have to make shots. But we're getting the ball to her, and she's shooting over 60%. That's a much improved Brea than last year.
Seems like she's picking up some reach-in fouls.
Yeah.
What are you doing to kind of get her from?
Just showing her, and she hadn't done that in a while, and then she kind of did that. It's just out of frustration last game, just showing her on film, and teaching her to be more disciplined. And I think that year of experience from her freshman year, I think she was already more disciplined this year. But also showing her, you can't score. You're not going to have a career like you want. You're not going to play like you've been if you're out sitting with foul trouble. And I think she wants to stay on the floor. So last game I just saw she was frustrated, and she hadn't been doing that for a while. So I don't know why she kind of started doing that last game. But I think she'll be fine. We'll show some film today, and just discipline, because getting a reaching foul 20 feet from the basket, it doesn't make sense, because especially when it makes you sit. Or slapping down last second when you have 3, that's not the time to do that. Or taking the risk to get the steal and reaching in when you have 3, it's not the time to do it. Now, if you have 1 foul, it's third quarter, you want to try to go for that, that's a different situation. So showing her those things and showing her evidence of that, and that's worked so far. And she's done a pretty good job. I just think of 2 games that she wasn't disciplined. But you're going to have those games. But we need her on the floor, so we got to figure that out.
When, one thing I noticed last year, when she's on the floor, she really impacts the game. And that's carried over to this year. What do you think it is about Brea that she can be, at times, so dominant?
I think that she's just gotten better, and she's a presence inside. I think that she's making some really tough shots this year. They could be kind of off balance. She's just going up, and she's confident. So that's a big thing. And I think defensively, she alters some shots. I think she does a good job of her timing when she doesn't slap down. So I think she's just improved, and she's really strong this year. Last year, I thought she got flung around a little bit, especially when she had lost a lot of weight. It's funny because we'll be watching film, and we'll see film from last year. So like, where was I? Because she looks so different. Everybody's like, wow. But like, she's proud. She's worked, and it showed, and she's playing so much better. So I think she's in a good place. So just got to get her going again and keep her on the floor. That's the main thing, because we need her on the floor. She makes a big difference. And also, she's an unselfish player. When she gets the ball and she gets double or triple, she does a great job of passing it out. So the guards are going to get shots. And I'm proud of our guards because they've done a really good job of feeding the beast, giving her the ball inside and letting her score.
When I came in, I saw Sky still wearing the boot. How's she doing?
Yeah, she's doing fine. She'll play. She just, just kind of giving it a rest. It was sore, but she's perfectly fine. It's just a way to keep her off of it in the time we have a few days off. And now she's back in the practice full, so we'll have her back, which is good.
And I mean, as far as your bench, who do you really need to see take a step up to be competitive in the Big 12?
Yeah, so we really need Montea. Whether she's starting or coming off the bench, we need her to bring a defensive presence. We need her to play multiple positions, so continue to share the ball and do all the little things that we need and be solid defensively, but really to help us on the boards and hit open shots. We really need Jaw. So we need Jaw to come in and play like she did last game, where she's coming in instant offense off the bench, scoring, making shots in transition, hitting her open threes. We need her and hitting the boards. We need her to do that consistently and play like that. And she's able to play like that. She's one of the few that can really guard the perimeter. Whether she's starting or coming off the bench, we need Isis. Isis has to contribute. Isis, we need her to look for her to score inside on the block, and she can give us 8, 10 points. She's capable of that. She's also a very unselfish player. She's good at moving the ball. She's our best post player in the pick and roll situations. So we need her on the court, not in foul trouble. And they weren't getting foul trouble in those position times. They were getting foul trouble or fouls off of like reaching off of a drive or like slapping down or being late. So those are the fouls we have to eliminate. But need her on the floor. I think Katarina to give us some great energy. Maylene to be able to come in for Paulina or Jada and run the one and give us a great defensive presence. Katarina's been playing a lot more at the 3 and the 4. So being able to play both of those positions, know the offense, run the plays, and take care of the basketball for Maylene and Katarina. That was a huge thing for them. And then JR, being able to come in, whether it's behind Isis or Brea, get some rebounds, set screens, run offense, and be a presence inside. So we need those things. We need our full team.
When you think of the rotation, I mean, how small do you expect to go when you get into these Big 12 games?
Yeah, I think obviously you don't play 14 people in Big 12 games or 13 people. I think that a realistic and tight games, a realistic rotation is probably 9. It could be 10 because of the way we play, but I probably 8 or 9 consistent heavy minutes because that's just kind of the way it goes. Because I mean, we really have to win games, and the Big 12 is not going to be easy. So I think that, but if we're able to get a lot out of Jaw and some of the bench, like I think it depends on how people perform off the bench, because you're going to go deeper into your bench if you're not getting the performance you want out of your core 8. Then you go deeper or foul trouble. So they need to kind of do their job, step up, because ideally when you have starters and you're subbing, you're not losing anything. You may look different, but you're keeping the same, sustaining the same momentum. You don't want to drop off. And I think for us, at times, you saw in the non-conference, we can't play 5 people off the bench together because it's too much inexperience. So being able, but then so that limits people's minutes. Because if you have to play 3 core players or 3 starters with 1 sub player, it's just to run your offense and stuff or positions, that's what makes it hard. So that's why you can't play 10 people sometimes. So I think that just having Montea come in, do great at the wing, you know, Katarina come in and be solid at the 4, that really helps us, and then Jaw also. So that kind of helps us with that rotation because they're trying to earn the spots to be in that rotation. And we're trying to win games at the same time, so everybody's not going to play.
You know, I've seen some of the team at volleyball all year, but the last couple of times I saw Job with them, and it seemed like she's more integrated in the group.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that more as of her getting comfortable with everyone?
For sure. And I think it takes time. I think it's hard when there's like a small core that's been here already. I think it's always hard, even for Paulina. When you're new, you're kind of the new kid on the block, learning a whole new system, learning new teammates. I think that's not always easy. And, you know, girls can be girls. So I think now they're in a really good place as a team. And there always is going to be on every team, there's like bumps in the road. You know, someone's mad at someone because they fouled them at practice. Those are normal basketball things. So that always happens. But, yes, I love to see that because that's how we are. And we have a good team with really good chemistry and culture. And that's stuff you have to work at. So happy to see that and happy to see the new players coming along and hanging out, going to volleyball. Those are little things that it's team building without team building, you know.
So you did you took the teddy bears to the
Casa de los
Casa de
Niños.
los Niños yesterday. What was that event like?
Yeah, great. I was actually recruiting, so I'm usually at that event, but I didn't get to go, but they said it went really well. I saw the video. And it's funny because Lauren stayed longer with some of the players, so they stayed there extra. And I've actually been there. Lauren hadn't been there. Yeah, and we just like doing that. It's great. I mean, we brought truckloads of teddy bears there. So it's just good to give back and good to serve, and this is the time of year you do it. I wish we had more time to do more stuff like that, but I think it's important for the players to do that and to give back. And we've probably done like 4 or 5 this year. So I think in our community, this is a close-knit community that really values that, and I think we've done a really good job of that, even my first couple of years, to kind of build that foundation and go to read to elementary schools and stuff like that. And I think it's made people want to support us. And I think that's what you have to do, and it's important. And even if they want to sleep in or something, we say, no, but then they end up going and loving it and doing a good job. I don't have like anybody that's like, oh, we're not doing that. They're always like, wow, that was awesome. Especially like when we go to Habitat for Humanity or go build a house or go to Banner, the Children's Hospital. They love those. So there's some key ones that they really, really enjoy. And you have to, I think you need to give back, and you need to learn how to serve and motivate someone else. Like if you can motivate one kid, like you've done a great job. If you go to YMCA and you're doing a free basketball clinic and you give one kid some motivation, some light, or some enthusiasm about something, or some hope, that's something special. And I think that they need to realize that. And it's funny because I've been asking for years to be with Team Impact. And I don't know why we haven't been able to do that. I think those things are huge. And so if anybody can help with that, I've been asking for that. And I know football has done it, but I think those things are so valuable, and your players learn a lot of valuable lessons from that. So if you have a way to get us with Team Impact, that'd be good. You guys hook us up. All right, thanks.